just a little bit. But we can at least get into the car before this guy.
I thought you said so.
I'm still with the stick. Right? Right? I was blacker, my face was better, but it's I'm not showing him my school ID. I look like I'm ready to jump.
Just the rest of Alley Line.
Like, I really hate Twilight, so I like seeing people beat up on Edward Cullen. It puts it sort of like but then, somebody kind of shifts, and I can't breathe. So I really would like to ask him to get off, but I can't ask him to get off because I can't breathe. So I'm starting to kind of flail a little, but there's like 8 people on me at this point. And finally somebody notices, and they all get off. I was a little bruised after that, so I guess that's my horror story. So, I mean, Joe cosplays are fun, but there's always a risk. I'm really glad I didn't asphyxiate so that I could come to this sunset. Yeah, see it.
Actually, that reminds me of a Natalia story that I have.
Wow, you have a lot of Hetalia fans here?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a word of advice for Hetalia fans. I understand your desire for historical accuracy. However, who was at Anime Boston last year? They know this one. There's a photo circulating around on the internet of a Hetalia cosplay shoot with a line of Germany's doing this.
Oh no!
This was done close to the Holocaust War Memorial on Passover.
Oh no!
Now, that's pretty bad. Almost as bad, there was a guy at the convention who was dressed up as Schrodinger from Helsing Ultimate, the Nazi cat boy. And a couple walked up to him, they commented on his interesting outfit, and they commended him for having the bravery to wear it. Then they asked him for some directions. And he said, well, what you're going to want to do is go down this street, hang a left, and straight on. Oh, crap. So that's why it's great to have historical accuracy. Just be very, very, very careful. Anyone else have a con horror story they'd like to share? Okay, let's see. Okay, I gotta go for the girl in the back in the costume. I'm a sucker for costumes and I'm a sucker for girls. Maybe then I'll tell you a trap story.
Hello everybody. So, this convention horror story takes place back at AnimeNext 2007. This story almost got me banned from my parents from ever going to another convention ever again, and it was not my fault at all. Saturday, AnimeNext 2007, I was dressed as Rock Lee from Naruto. I go out to the Naruto photo shoot, getting all excited, before the photo shoot, and by the way, this is also the first convention I ever cosplayed at, AnimeNext 2007. And so, I'm waiting out there, and some people are playing some awesome Naruto intro music, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna dance, and this is gonna be awesome. Da-da-da-da. This Orochimaru cosplayer comes over to me and starts biting my neck, okay?
Oh my God.
Saying that he wants a taijutsu expert to be his next body, okay? He starts sucking on my neck. And as soon as he pulls away, my friend brings my mirror over, and of course, I have a hickey there. And I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me. Now the guy seriously pulled, the turtleneck away so that he could get to my actual skin. Like, okay, fine, whatever. I can forgive this. I should have seen this coming when I decided to dress up. It's true. Every time we dress up, we, give ourselves up to the fandom crowd to be abused for whatever reason. It's true. You all know it's true. So on Sunday, AnimeNext 2007, I was dressed as Misa from Death Note. Thank you. And I go out to the photo shoot area, once again, quite excited. And I find a different Orochimaru cosplayer, okay? Now she's leaving me alone, alright? She's off doing her own thing. And then she and her friends decide they're gonna frolic around the area. First of all, it was hilarious to watch. I'm just gonna put that out there. But then her giant butt boat falls off, okay? And she's freaking out because she needs a second person to put it on. So I walk over, good person that I am, and I was like, do you need help putting this back on? She goes, yes. So I help her put the bow back on. She's so grateful. She's so thankful. Awesome. And she's like, can I bite your neck? And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Again?
She went on the other side of my neck and started sucking on my neck again.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say a thing. I'm just like, I'm happy I could help you. I have a photo shoot to get to. Okay, thanks, bye. So, Sunday ends. I drive back home with my friends. I walk in the door. The first thing my mom, of course, sees are the two hickeys on my neck. She looks at me and she goes, what were you doing there? Because she has never been to a convention before. No, when I was younger, my dad accompanied me to a convention because I was too young to be there by myself. But my mom had never been to one before. She goes, what do you do there? What do they make you do there? I, as your mother, am letting you go to these places? What? She starts freaking out and yelling at me, screaming at me the whole time. And I'm just like, Mom, it wasn't my fault. And she's like, I am never letting you go to another convention ever again. These places are places of pure evil. And of course I'm thinking to myself, no, duh they are. Duh luckily, in the end, my dad was home. I explained the situation to him. He's like, well, I don't quite like the fact that 2 people were sucking the neck of my daughter, but I've seen worse at the convention I went to. It's like, yes, Dad, I know you've seen worse. You don't need to relive it. It was kind of traumatizing, to be completely honest with you. And he explains the story to my mom. My mom finally calms down by about Thursday, might I add. And, of course, AnimeNext 2008 rolls around, and she just glares at me as I leave the house. She's like, if you come back again, I'm like, I know, Mom, it's okay, don't worry. She goes, I'll put a chastity belt on you, I swear to God. So that was a story that almost got me banned from conventions for life. Luckily, it did not, and I am here to grace all of you as Rena. Welcome to Hinamizawa, everybody!
Are you gonna like cut my head off with the giant thing?
I left it under my bed back at home so that no one will take it.
Oh, thank God, because I love my baseball bat in the car. Any parents here? Any parents here with their kids? No parents? Oh, one parent? Awesome. And cat ears. Even better. See, my very first convention I went to with my father. I was 15 years old, and it was a sci-fi convention, and I couldn't drive, and my parents weren't going to let me take the train. So I went to the first convention with my father, and this was Icon on Long Island, and I don't know what happened to him. I don't see him for the entire time I'm there. I go looking for him. I find him in the cabaret, laughing at Kenny Baker. That's the guy inside the R2-D2 suit. Needless to say, the very next year, the horror story is he wanted to go back. Okay, so how many people here are sharing a room? All of you? Okay, got a question for you. Okay, random. How many people are in your room?
There are 3.
3, 5, 7. Okay, NecoCon 2 years ago, I had 24 people in my room. Would you like to hear me how I got 24 people into the room? Okay, this is a suite, mind you, so there's a front and a back. It's an embassy suite. So, we have 2 queen-size beds. There are 3 people in each bed. That's 6. We have 1 person between the bed and the window, 1 person between the 2 beds, and 1 person between the bed and the wall. That's 9 people. 1 person at the foot of each bed, we're up to 11. 1 person on top of the writing desk, 1 person under the writing desk, we're at 13. In the other room, 2 people on the fold-out, that's 15. 1 person between the fold-out and the door, 14. Number 15 was sleeping in a chair. Numbers 16 and 17 were arranged in an L position next to the sofa. We have 2 people sleeping under the bed. Now we're up to 19. Number 20 is on top of the table. Number 21 is under the table. Number 22 is on top of the television cabinet. Number 23 slept in the lobby, and number 24 was in the tub. Actually, no, number 23 was in the bathroom, number 24 was in the tub. Needless to say, nothing bad happened. There was a lot of funk, but nobody got hurt. Anyone else have a con horror story they'd like to share? Okay. I'll get you if you're in the front. Then I want you over there with the hair.
Yeah, this one's pretty short. So I went to Anime Boston this year, and it was my second con, so I didn't really know what's going on, but...
Did you get caught in the thunderstorm on Saturday?
Yes.
So did I.
Okay, but that's not the point. Obviously, like, Boston is known for seafood and stuff, but seems like that day, I had some, like, pretty bad crab. So I had to take a pretty big crap pretty soon. So I ran into the restroom, and I looked to the right, and there were Sailor Moons fixing their hair. So I was like, oh my god, this is a girl's restroom. And so I went out, and I ran back in, and there were guys. And I had my crap time, and I washed my hands, I said hi, and I went out.
Oh my god.
That doesn't sound like a horror story. It's pretty, I mean, eating bad seafood. I mean, I ate bad seafood after NIAF 09, and I was laid up for like 4 days. Oh, it's a trap story? Yeah, bad stories of traps. Okay, you. We're going to do it with flash and flare and panache.
All right, my story.
This could literally make it into being a horror story because it's about how I developed a stalker for the time of 2 years because I was the idiot who gave my phone number out at a convention. It's 2 years ago at this very con, and I being a at that time 17-year-old boy between the ages of 17 and 35, I had these two Rubenesque women come up to me, making general comments that such go to the con will do. I, being the attention whore that I was, decided, oh, let me give them my number, I'll get numbers of their friends, so and so. This number ended up getting transferred down to someone who I knew about a year ago who had a weird history with me regarding, you know, phone conversations, emails, snail mail, in general. So I don't know who this person is that they've given the number to, was someone I knew. So what I get is an influx of 20 to 30 messages on a daily basis after this con from an anonymous messenger. This continues to go to the slow and slower until later on when I decide, okay, I need a ruse, and the idiot I am, decide I'm going to have one of my friends who speaks a foreign language say I'm working for a company somewhere else, and that'll be the end of it. I'm the idiot who picks one of my friends who speaks fluent Japanese. So now I have a stalker who thinks I'm working for a Japanese company, and my friend who isn't very good at lying makes me think it's America. And somehow this person's gotten my email address. Needless to say, 3 to 4 weeks of email influxes later, I finally get it all deleted. I block all the accounts, and it hasn't continued. But that is literally how one bad defense of the con actually turned into a horror story. I had an unbeknownst stalker for about a year and a half because of a number I gave out at the con.
What was the number?
Okay, my phone number is 631.
No, the number was 8675309. Yeah, I'm from the 80s, I can go with that. Actually, I had a similar thing happen to me at KatsuCon last year. I gave my number because I was press and I was looking to get some interviews with some voice actors, and I gave my number to the press liaison, and for the entire weekend, apparently somebody wrote the number down in the wrong place, and then someone stole the number, and for the entire weekend, I was getting phone calls intended for gray hairs. Needless to say, it was a very interesting weekend. Thankfully, I have since changed my number. So, anyone else have a con horse? Okay, yeah, go for it. Seriously, this is just proof that anything that can happen at a con that can go wrong will.
Yeah.
And it's not just, hey, are you coming to the con this weekend? It got to a point 2 years ago where hey, are you going to the con this weekend? Turned into, stop calling me, I'm not going to the con with you. Why not? Because I've been to 4 cons with you already. So, this month. Yeah. Anyone else have a con horror story? Okay, let's see. Who wants it the most? You know, are you dressed as Char?
Quattro.
Okay, get up here then. It's good enough. Is that a wig or is that your actual hair?
Oh, it's a wig.
Oh.
I waved at myself. Hello. This isn't so horrible. It's a little short. My mom is a huge Star Wars fan. So she took me to Star Wars things since I was a little kid. So we went to the Star Wars convention, and in the same convention center there was a Jehovah's Witness convention, which is actually was not that bad. We just kind of stayed
I told you a lot of stories start out this way.
Actually, to tell the truth, it wasn't that bad. We kind of stayed out of each other's hair. They just kind of gave us weird looks and, stayed to the other side of the elevator when we were in there. But the funny part was that all of us, me and my mom and all of her friends were all in Jedi costumes, and so we went to this restaurant. And our waitress hadn't come over yet, and you could see that she was like talking to the other waitress, and she was like kind of stealing sideways glances at us, and like we could tell she wanted to ask us something. So when she came over, we were like, "Hey, did you want to ask us something?" And she said, "Yeah. Are you guys at the Jehovah's Witness convention?" And we said, "No, we're Jedi." Yes.
Okay, I gotta tell you a story. Then you. I gotta tell this story. Okay, Anime Boston takes place on Easter weekend, which you'd think would be a bad time for there to be a con on Easter weekend, but the 19,000 plus people that showed up this year shows that Jesus loves anime.
Yeah.
But I'm in Anime Boston last year, and I feel guilty because it's Easter weekend. This is the first Easter ever I have gone to church, and I feel bad about it. So I decide I want to go just do something for Easter. I go to, there's a little chapel in the mall. There's a mall built right into the Hines, and can't get in. I go outside, there's churches packed. I finally find a church. It's a Lutheran church down at the end of the street. And I get in there, and there's a couple of other congoers there, because we have the badges, a couple of them are in costume, hanging out in the back. And the minister is talking, Jesus, 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 he is risen. At that moment, a Jesus cosplayer walked in. The minister does this. Jesus does this. So for about 30 seconds, it was like, oh crap. And then the minister does this. Everyone in the place turns around, sees Jesus, starts applauding. I promised it to her, then you. But you see, good things happen. It's not always crazy when religion gets involved. There were once a group of nuns that got glomped at NecoCon because everyone thought they were in cosplay.
Oh.
Okay, YomaCon was definitely the best convention I've ever been to, ever. But it was elevator madness because there's 4 elevators and a bazillion people. And it took us 45 minutes to go up 6 floors.
Yeah.
And we were just sitting in the elevator, squished up against the wall, just like, is it over? Is it over yet? Can we please get out of the elevator? Because the stairways were all locked.
Oh.
Wow, fire.
Baka, man.
That's kind of scary. Okay, you got another one for me? Okay, come on, Edward Cullen.
Okay, so I have to give a little disclaimer. This story is really honestly probably not true. I think it's hilarious though, so I'm going to tell it. My friend told this to me. She's a veteran congoer. She's been to a million cons, and she said she heard this from her friend. So anyway, it's another religion one. There was an anime con going on at the same time as, I think it was a Baptist convention, and some guy goes, her friend goes apparently, dressed as like some demon character from some video game. He's got like a really complicated costume, chains everywhere, he's got huge wings, and he has 2 friends dressed up as little demon attendants who help hold the wings up. So anyway, they get into the elevator, and they're riding up the elevator, the doors open, and this little old woman clutching a Bible is waiting for the elevator, and she just stands and stares. He stares, and she stares, and the doors start to close, and as the doors close, he goes, going down! And later, they see an ambulance.
Oh, no.
Apparently, she had a heart attack and died.
Oh.
I told that story like 2 minutes into the panel. Yeah, no, you know what I love about that particular story? I've been asking around. That story started in the 80s.
Wow.
I've heard it be the demon from Legend. I've heard it be all sorts, like Nazgul. I mean, that story has made the rounds. That is like, if there's an urban legend dedicated to being a congoer, that's the urban legend. Okay, you with the purple hair. I'm trying to think of like a one-liner horror story.
Did anybody go to Ohio?
I'm really excited.
I am. Did anyone go to OhioCon this year? No? Okay. Anyways, I went to OhioCon, and it's in this huge convention center, and there's a cheerleading convention. And it goes from little 3-year-olds, why are they cheerleading, to like teenagers. And
Why are they cheerleading?
I don't know, there's 3-year-olds.
No, why are the teenagers cheerleading? Don't they have better things to do?
I don't know. So they have contests throughout, and we're trying to, and here are the mothers, and the girls, like I saw a 4-year-old in a bikini with like a number on it, and colors, and these little short shorts, and she's sparkling, and I'm like, it's so wrong. And the mother is like clutching her and trying to keep away from the anime people. I just wanted to say, your girl's 4 and she's dressed like a slut and you're afraid of us. Why? And then the best part is, one girl broke away from her little friends and her family, and she's like, and the mother's like, oh God, the anime people are the devil. And she runs out to abash the stampede because he's listening to music and dancing. And she's like, will you dance with me? And he does. And it's adorable.
I was at Anime Mid-Atlantic in 2008, and I was standing at a CVS with a friend of mine, and I witnessed the following encounter. There was a furry in line. He had a little foxtail and the little ears. Other than that, perfectly normal, buying something. And this woman in front of me with her 3 daughters was looking weird at him. He leaves. Immediately she turns around and says, "My God, kids, did you take a look at that freak? Never grow up and be like that. You don't want to be abnormal." So the guy in front of me taps her on the shoulder, puts a dime in her hand and says, "Here's 10 cents, go buy yourself a brain." So she started swearing. To which he said, "Wow, you're making a really good role model for your kids right now. Here's another 10 cents, go buy a brain for them too." Yeah. Anyone have a story about like that, encountering people from outside the con? Okay, just come up here then. You haven't seen that hand raised. Trying a place where you're cosplaying.
Welcome to Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, see, I don't do Kingdom Hearts anymore. I hate saying this. Kingdom Hearts is a game that got ruined by the fandom for me.
Oh.
Unheard.
Wow.
Alright, so we've all encountered outside con people in our costumes. And I'm sorry, I know you're not a fan of Kingdom Hearts, but me and about 10 other people were in full Organization 13 gear. So we had the black coats down to our ankles, crazy colored hair. We went into Fuddruckers. And me and a friend of mine got separated from the group. We didn't know where they sat down. We had gotten our food afterwards, so we were up at the counter. We asked someone, "Did you see where our friends went?" She goes, "Oh, you mean the cult?" We just agreed, and she pointed us to the proper table, and we enjoyed our dinner.
But you see, there's a case where the people were nice. I got another story about nice people. I have a friend who was cosplaying as Roy Mustang. And his friend was cosplaying as Maze Hughes. And they were late for their flight, so they didn't bother to change out of their uniforms. So they're standing on line, getting ready to go onto the plane, and they go through security, and they find a giant folding knife in one of the bags. So they come up to them and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we forgot that it was in the bag, we're really sorry, really sorry." The woman behind the counter says, "Oh, you look like nice young cadets, just get on the plane." Okay, we got about 10 more minutes. So, does anyone have any trap stories? Because we need to have a trap story. Need to have a trap story. As long as it's not vulgar. Is it vulgar? If a trap story makes you groan, then it's a good trap story.
And it was so bad.
Go for it.
Okay, about encountering non-con people. Last year, I was in full drag as Lady Gaga. And I'm not facing the person. And they say, "Oh my God, Alex? It was my fucking uncle. He recognized me because of my ass."
Oh my God! Holy crap!
Why he was here, I have no clue. But I will tell you, I will never cosplay ever again. There's no chance. I don't know who I'm going to run into. Next time it might be my dad. He's going to go, "Oh, wait, your tup's not right." Oh, God.
That has got to be the best told story I've heard in so long. Extremely brilliant. Oh, if I had a prize, I would give you one. If I had my Haruhi bag, I would just give it to you right now. But I don't have any prizes on me, unfortunately.
Okay, my own humiliation.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else have a trap story or an interesting anecdote? Someone who hasn't gone yet? Okay, I'll take. Yeah, you got it. No, you with glasses. God, that's amazing.
Hey, I'm Rob, and my story is about drunkenly debasing myself during my first convention staying in a hotel. So it's been a long day. It's the Saturday of AnimeNext 09, and we're in my friend's room pre-gaming for the rave. Someone takes out Sparks. Now, does anyone here know what Sparks is? It's the precursor to Four Loko. It's one of the first alcoholic energy drinks that was available. And I think I like caffeine. I enjoy alcohol. Good choice. No. Bad choice. So I have that, and then I have about half of a Pizza Hut pizza. Again, bad choice. That's going to be kind of the theme for the evening. After this, I go back to the room and I'm like, I feel good. I should drink more. At which point I make myself a screwdriver that is, I would say, about 3/4 Grey Goose to 1/4 orange juice.
I feel for that. I'll tell
you. Oh, it gets better. So I'm dressed as the scout from TF2. I probably should have mentioned that. And at this point, I had never played the games before in my life, so I was just kind of doing the costume because a friend had asked me to. I get to the rave, and I'm a stumbling mess. I am falling down. I have like mystery bruises when I wake up. At one point though, I feel that feeling. And anyone here who's drank to a point of excess knows exactly what that feeling is. The feeling that everything that has ever been in your stomach has turned on you. So I take off and I just bolt for the bathroom. I'll spare you the gory details, but suffice it to say no one was using that toilet for a few days. So I go back to the room, and I don't remember this, but apparently all of my wonderful, caring roommates decided this would be a great time to hang out in the bathroom with me and take pictures. So there's a picture of me with a Solo cup full of water hanging over the toilet with this huge retarded grin on my face. Just, I can't think thoughts. So, and then I wake up the next morning, and I remember the advice my uncle had given me the previous week when he had been over. Rob, if you drank too much the night before and you're hungover, eat something greasy. It'll soak up all the stuff in your stomach. No, do not do that. Or at least don't do it with the hot dogs here. Not to knock the concession stand. Most of their food is, decent to passable to won't give you diarrhea, but these hot dogs, I had nothing in my stomach. I sit down with my friend. I'm shaking like a leaf because I have nothing to power my body. And I take one bite. I get about a quarter of the way in the hot dog. I swallow, and the hot dog doesn't agree immediately. I look up at my friend, and he knows exactly what's up. He looks at me and goes, "Do you want me to hold the hot dogs?" I just look at him. And I, again, bolt for the bathroom. I don't make it to the bathroom. Thank God they have those giant trash cans out. I'm like 10 feet from the bathroom. I can see it. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna make some noise when I'm in there, but that's not a big deal. No one will see me. Instead, I end up vomiting in broad daylight into a giant trash can in the middle of the convention center. And then, this is the icing on the cake for me. I run into my recent ex, who says to me, she's like, "Oh, you're hungover? Oh, I had a whole bunch of wine to drink the night before, but I feel fine." And I look at her and I think, I'm going to destroy you. With my bare hands, I am going to tear you asunder from this reality. And that is why you never drink alcoholic energy drinks.
I have to say, I empathize. I really empathize with you because the first time I ever got drunk, like wasted, was when I was 27 at NecoCon. And it was also on screwdrivers. I drank 5 of them in 90 minutes. I am told that I ran out into the hallway, screamed something obscene off the balcony, cursed at an episode of Death Note on Adult Swim, professed my undying love for my two best friends, one female, one not, and then I passed out on the couch. I don't remember any of this. All I know is the next day my stomach hurt really bad. But the day after was particularly horrible. You see, we were about to go to the rave, and it was me, my friend Bob, Tony Sama, and one other guy, and we're all sitting in the room and they're drinking vodka. Now I can't drink vodka. Vodka does weird things to me. I once drank a vodka cranberry, and I was drunk like 12 hours later. I can't drink vodka. I'm not Russian, I'm Irish. I can handle my whiskey, but I can't handle my vodka. So we're a little, they're drinking vodka, I'm drinking beer, and we're a little loopy, and all of a sudden my friend turns on the television. Flip. Oh look, it's Roseanne Barr. Tony's reaction. Immediately. He wasn't sick, he just couldn't stand to look at Roseanne.
I don't blame him.
We look at him for about 45 seconds. We start laughing. We're like, okay, we'll fix this up. We go into the bathroom, get some towels, try to clean it up. And about that time, the girl who booked the room comes back. She's paranoid. She sees this, and I can tell she wants to scream. I can tell she wants to yell and rant and rave. She just calmly walks into the bathroom. She's like, I'll get some towels, we'll clean this up, everything will be fine. A few seconds go by, we hear an inhuman roar come from the bathroom. She comes out into the hall and says, who the F wiped their ass with the towels? We did not go back to the room that night, nor the next night. I remember sleeping in a car. So this is why you don't drink at cons. Okay, so we got 4 minutes. I got time for 2 short stories or 1 long one. Does anyone have okay, I want the guy with the nets. Guy with the nets, come up here. You might be the last one. You probably are the last one. Come up here, and does it involve the nets?
No, I'm going to leave that back.
Well, you have a net.
Oh yeah, so the last convention I went to was also AnimeNext last year, and I went to this... What?
I'm here for details, did you forget anything?
Alright, cool, thanks.
Wow, Spike Spiegel was there too, that's awesome.
I know, right? So yeah, is anyone going to that Cellular Bridge Series panel today? Or what? So we got a couple of people. I've never actually seen the Bridge Series yet, but I went because he told me to go with him. And basically, I was wearing this last year. Hang on, let me get it. It's in this folder.
And that might be appropriate.
Oh no. Oh no.
Now, for those of you who do not know, one of the people in Sailor Moon Abridged is very short and has a very high-pitched voice.
This gets tweeted as well.
Awesome. All right, so at the very end of the panel, there's Q&A, and he raises his hand wearing the mask. And what exactly did you say?
Oh, I think I said something along the lines of, I work for a talent agency, you look like a nice person that I could talk to, let's talk about this in the van, I have candy. She yells out security, and suddenly I'm being dragged backwards trying to get my balance by some huge guy, and I actually thought I was going to get thrown out, and I was really scared.
It wasn't actually someone who was from security, it was just some random guy who wanted to drag him out of the panel.
I always felt so bad for a friend of mine who went to a con dressed as Pedo Bear, and on the second day of the con, he got ambushed by Chris Hansen. Okay, so what time is it? Okay, so I guess that's pretty much that's the last story. Thank you for dealing with this horror story.
No. Here's a better question. Waldo was a Pokemon. Can you catch it? No, you didn't get it.
We come from Japan. We are happy to be a part of this event. Let's introduce members. Yuki vocals. Yuki vocals.
Aya on guitar. KJ on guitar.
As on drums.
I'm Steve. Hello everyone. We have tonight like 9 o'clock. Please come here. See you later. Thank you. Bye.
Zuhi. They're not here. Vic Mignana. Gotta give me some man love. Hold on a minute. How are you guys doing? Yeah! OMG. I have missed you guys. It's been what, 5 years? Lord have mercy. But I am so excited to be back at AnimeNext tomorrow. Q&A session at 4. We're here all weekend, and I'm dying to meet all of you. So come and say hello, all right? Thanks, guys. Robert Axelrod.
Yeah!
So I look forward to talking to everybody, and if you see me somewhere, come by and say hi, and I'll do voices for you or something. And thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Mom.
And just before she leaves, I want you to know she started as a staffer with them.
Yes, I was actually a staffer here. Can you believe it?
Wow!
I love it so much. And I love Bob's family too. It's awesome.
Bill Rogers.
Hello everybody. 10 years, AnimeNext. Woo! 10 years we've been doing this, and I was actually guest at the first con, and I've tried to make an appearance every year. I love this show. It's a great convention. You guys are going to have a great time this weekend. We did a Genshin panel earlier today. Michelle and I will be doing Power Hour tomorrow, talking about some Pokemon stuff, all that good stuff. But so there's a million Pokemon cosplayers on the way over here, so that's really good to see that gets representation.
Good walk!
Other than that, have a great weekend. We've done this, so we know the routine. Let's get out there and have some fun.
Greg Ayers.
How are you guys doing?
Oh, you can do better than that.
I am stoked to be back. I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I already did an industry panel. I've got a panel where I get to announce a bunch of secret shows that I've been working on. It's called Flying in Panties and Beyond on Sunday. And otherwise, I'll be hanging out. I'll see you guys this weekend. Thanks.
Steve Young.
Hi, AnimeNext, I'm Steve Young. I'm here representing Robotech. Also, how many people here like giant robots?
extremely happy to be here. It's our 10th anniversary as well. We're from about a half hour south of here. We chose AnimeNext to premiere our first film, or our newest film. It'll be 11 o'clock tonight. So we chose you guys to be the first people to see it. So we're very excited about that. So if anybody has any questions about anything having to do with fan parodies or anything like that, please grab us. We hope you will all come to the premiere. And I want to take a geek photo, so can everyone be awesome?
With the Viking hat on, and if you want to take my picture, you may. Other than that, have a great con. Be careful, stay hydrated, and watch the slippery sidewalk.
Why don't you have a possible thunderstorm for her?
Tom Whalen. He could make it, but
Tom Whalen is currently stuck in traffic, so I'm going to play I just want you all to know that we're going to rock and roll this weekend. I've got a lot of industry panels to do. We're going to be doing a dubbing workshop, so make sure you come to that. There's going to be a late night dubbing workshop as well. If you're old enough to go to that, come and rock and roll with me. It's going to be really cool. Also want to let you all know that on Monday, I'm going to have to take him to the studio to audition for Pokemon, so he's going to have to wear the Pikachu suit. Maybe we'll give him And as Bill Rogers, I have to tell Big that yes, to get into Pokemon, you have to wear the Pikachu suit.
No, we're still in Pokemon.
Thank you, Tom. Thank all of you for showing up for opening ceremonies. Have a great convention and enjoy yourself. Bye.
Version of a song that's even longer. What? So there'll be a download link when that goes up on YouTube. There'll be a download link for the full song. Okay. We have a little surprise for you guys.
Ooh.
We've released a very rare virus in this room. We have 4 hours to
We are about to show you the trailer for the second SMA movie.
And I thought, well, that's the problem right there.
Well, with all those DVDs and they're downloading them, well, fuck. Just go out and buy the damn DVDs. You know, but here's the problem. They're like, why should I go out and buy it? I already downloaded it.
That's what we said.
Yeah.
But I think, again, the problem is that we have a hoarding mentality, which is really what that amounts to. You just kind of behave.
See, I got a problem. I do that. But once I buy illegal DVDs, go to my computer, delete it, done. That's it.
So much stuff to watch.
I have stuff I have rap bought years ago I didn't watch.
Me too.
Getting for it after they recorded and stuff when people are bringing to America. I think that's also a big problem.
Yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, they watch it and that's it. And when you tell them, oh, the series is coming out, why don't you pick it up? And I already watched it. The real problem is that Japan gets it for free, so we should get it.
They don't get it for free. They pay an HK tax. And a lot of those anime air on premium channels, which you have to pay for, like an HBO.
And you have a internet connection, you're also paying for that, but in their mind, it's like I'm not really paying for it. Technically, you are. You just don't see it.
I think we should. I think we should look to the next topic soon. But I can make one more point. If it's okay.
Yes, please. Yes. Go.
Okay. So you had said, you know, the DVD comes out and you ask them why don't you buy it, and they just say, oh, because I already have it. Another thing I noticed is that a lot of people will have a reason for not getting for not doing the legal stream of a Funimation show, for example, and they'll be like, oh, it's because the quality isn't good enough, and then they'll up the quality, and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't have honorifics now, and then and they add the honorifics, and it's like, but it doesn't have this other thing I need. So you just keep moving the goal. Because
You can't win.
I don't think people even do that consciously, but I think some people just kind of, nothing's going to work. Nothing is, unless you give them every show, ever, in 1080p quality, multiple language tracks for free online. They will still find something to call
Before we move on, that one in the back, you in the back, yes, has had your hand up. Speak.
These are shows that, like, if I'm a giant robot fan, which I am, you know, I can easily watch every giant robot show available in the U.S. That is fine. And, like, one of my siblings did it because I promise you that nobody's going out to watch, go get Jay Decker, which I just watched, like, from, you know, 91. Like, and I'm not saying that, like, that entitles people to, you know, download everything, but I'm just pointing out that there is anime that's older that I'm not downloading it because, like, I want to be cool with the trend, but I will watch.
No, I totally agree, and that's something that I think we forgot to bring out, but I do think that fan subs do serve a purpose for things that will never be licensed, and to be clear, because a lot of people don't quite understand this, that's still illegal. But I think it is more okay than fan subbing something that's going to be licensed in a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a more of a gray area, but that is something that you guys.
Yeah, well, we're not referring to fan subbing for archival purposes of, as it was said, shows that are sold that they are unlikely to ever get licensed, even on an infinitely long timeline.
Case closed. That's the case closed.
Want the newest shows, the minute they go off the air in Japan, they want fan subs on them, and they then feel the right to complain when they don't get them.
Speak for yourself. I'm still saying that you shouldn't download the old shit either. I mean, why do you have to watch it? That's why.
Because you can't.
It's available to watch.
The other 500% case closed.
On this one, agree?
Yeah.
All right. Next topic of discussion. Akira. What the fuck?
You know, this brand new movie that you've all been watching.
Or
1988.
The whitewashing of Akira. I mean, really. I mean, what was Warner Brothers thinking of an all-white cast for a live action for this movie, you know?
Oh, that was for the last Airbender. Yeah. Sarcasm, by the way.
Can we get the details? Guys, Adam, we need some people with details of this. Not everybody knows what's going on.
Okay. As you all know, for the longest time, Warner Brothers kept optioning or saying they're going to do a live action Akira movie.
And Akira, because Akira came out in 1988, not everybody knows it, is a manga and anime film based on the manga, both created by Katsuhiro Otomo. It's basically his most famous work, and it came over here, was very, very popular. It sparked a lot of anime fandom here with people going, oh, cartoons can be mature. It's a kind of post-apocalyptic science fiction story. Yeah.
Thank you. And so, as I say, Leonardo DiCaprio was going to produce or direct it. That kind of fell to the wayside. So recently we've been hearing that Warner Brothers is going to push ahead with this, and they're going to make changes. The first change was Neo Tokyo. It was going to be something along the lines of Neo New York City. I mean, New York City. Really? Is somebody at Warner Brothers Studio just hitting that bomb a little bit too hard?
Hold on. Okay, now why would they change it? Because otherwise you said it in Asia. And how many famous Asian people are here in America? Jackie Chan.
I'm going to argue that's partially a catch-22 because Hollywood doesn't cast Asian people, so they don't get famous.
If you're going to have a big budget movie with huge special effects, you need a very famous star in it to sell the tickets. And if there's no famous Asian people, you can't have an Asian movie come out in America.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
The Last Airbender.
Point at all. Damn it.
I still argue that Speed Racer was an excellent adaptation of that movie, and that wasn't. That didn't have Asian people in it. They had maybe like a couple of Asian people, but yeah.
It did have. It was.
Also, they weren't even trying to take it seriously. Yeah, it's a live action cartoon.
So much of what happens in Akira is very much tied to what happens in Japan. When you take it out of Japan, it makes no sense.
I agree, but I think in a modern context that might not make as much sense to people. You're totally right. Like in the time period, Akira is totally topical.
Basically, Hiroshima and 9/11 were not entertaining.
Oh, okay, right.
They're trying to draw equivalency. It does not make any sense. Sorry, no.
They can alter it if they do that, but they don't do adaptations well. No, they don't. This is thinking, hey, we like money, we like Leo.
Well, I think Leonardo DiCaprio was particularly interested in the project because he liked the movie, and he also likes money, I think. But
I mean, we all like AnimeNext still.
Handled and not treated like a $2 war. But,
Okay. You right there.
It goes out and buys them and you get
has already passed by. You really forget because I don't read some type of complex as often as I should. But
no. You read it too much if you read it at all.
I agree. But well, exactly, and much. And I compared them to the Inquirer actually because much like the Inquirer, very often they speak the truth when nobody else does.
Yeah, when the truth is about like underage anime, well, sure. Can we just argue about how Psychotic Complex is despicable for 5 minutes?
Well, if we're going to talk about that, let's move on. But like I was saying, and another ordinance is being bandied about that would in fact rule against I guess it's the sexual depiction or even the seemingly illicit depiction of underage girls to the point, and much like the Tokyo Youth Ordinance, it has similar vagaries wherein it's just, they look under 13. I guess.
That's the suggestion we learned that we have in America at 18.
in some way.
Okay, so the passed this bill. How has this been in effect yet?
Some titles got a bunch of manga. Basically, they're either not going to get ever reprinted or.
And was this Lolicon manga?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
here's the deal. I can try to explain this. So the target of it technically is supposed to be things like Lolicon manga, like Lolita Complex. Most people probably know that. Sexualization of underage girls. So the real problem, though, as a lot of people have pointed out online, is that that stuff is already regulated. You like if it's an actual porn title, it's regulated and it's self-regulated by the industry. And it says for adult only or 18 plus or something like that. So what this inadvertently affects, or advertently, I don't know. We don't know the actual motives of the legislators, but what it can also affect is things that just contain pedophilia as a plot point. Now, it's up to them to decide whether that is glorifying it or not. Now, I personally think glorifying it is awful, but I don't think that we should, or that Japan should be necessarily having the government regulate that. That should go away because of either industry self-regulation or because people just don't buy it. Please.
It's a little hard. I find it hard to really wonder what's best for Japan because it's such a very different culture from America with much different values. I mean, you're still not allowed to show private parts of pornography in Japan. That is illegal. And that's something very different than how we have these laws in America. So I have difficulty saying like what's appropriate for Japan because they have a much more different sense of what's decent than what we have here.
Technically, Scott, it is legal except another law of getting down, which is like saying it has nothing to do with gender.
I think though that this bill looks like the law now. It's been passed. I think it looks to most people, and to me at least, that it's sending a message to the international community, even if it's not actually going to be enforced as much as people think it will be. It's a message that like, hey, we're cracking down on this stuff, and we want the world to know.
I mean, one of my various concerns, I should say, is obviously, big issues with that kind of highly arguable. All that. I know, but the aim is again.
It has nothing to do with it.
It's a de facto banning of lolicon.
Wait, let him finish and move on.
That law, I was also say that law, it doesn't specifically say the word lolicon or anything like that, but that's kind of what it was placed for. So my worry is what if sometime, maybe 5 years down the line, they want to take that sort of protecting the youth from lolicon thing and use the laws to get rid of other things, like say, instead of just sexual children, they want to get rid of anything that's hyper-violence, so no more fans.
You're speaking about chilling effect, and that's exactly what this bill is about. It's about chilling effect. It's about the subversion of the rights of free speech by, through fear of persecution, through fear of, well, yes, but if you say incest is bad and we can't show it because it's bad, then who's to say that you can't extend that into other sex acts? And if you extend that into other sex acts, who's to say that
the law is actually specific about the sex acts that it restricts. It does not directly, it says nothing, from my opinion, that affects homosexuality. I think it could be stretched by very overzealous legislators.
Specific now, but the mastermind of this bill, Tokyo Governor Ishihara, it has made a number of statements speaking out against otaku, against foreigners, against gays, and a number of other people that have made him very popular among Japan's elderly, which is part of why he got reelected again. So this law rather isn't going anywhere. Did somebody guess? You.
Yeah, it's anyone under the age of consent in the story, which would count that.
Basically, you're mad or rape.
Right.
Think of any manga that's rape for whatever reason. That's
Yes, Kim Possible is a guilty pleasure of mine. So this is Shigo and Draken done up as Boris and Natasha. But let's go back to our old favorite. Down for the count. Yeah, soak it in, folks. This is the only good thing you're going to see all night. Now we're walking. So thank you for coming, everybody. Thank you very much. Wow, bigger room, bigger crowd, a little bit of room on the side. Cool, more people decide to come along. And there's also plenty of room for people to retreat in case they lose control of their bodily functions. My name is Brian T. Price, and I am proud to say, and by proud I mean utterly ashamed, to say that I have now been doing this panel for 10 years. And to stand as a monument to this colossal beast that I have inherited from people smarter than me, I've decided to do 10 terrible years of bad anime. I always start with a couple disclaimers and a couple questions. First off, I, myself, Brian T. Price, and I'm sure I can also speak for the staff and volunteers of AnimeNext, take no responsibility for whatever physical and mental harm may be visited upon you for seeing this garbage. Okay? You have been warned. You came here of your own free will. Suck it. All right, and let's see, what else? If there's any, is there anyone here under the age of, say, let's say 13? Yeah. Okay, the couple. All right, no, it's not a 13 plus panel. But let's just say if you have a problem, or speaking of sensibilities, if you have a problem with coarse language, crude verbiage, then you might want to leave because probably the very first swear word you're going to be hearing will be coming out of your own fucking mouth. And yet I'm still in the PG-13 realm here. So I think they're up to, 2 F-bombs now, as long as none of them can actually describe the act. Seriously, that's what it is. That's why a lot of PG-13 movies, they very, very specifically and strategically decide where to drop their F-bomb. So, almost like the big event in the movie. Now, who is coming to this for the very first time? No. Keep your hands up. Now, who here? Now, keep your hands up if you were here on the recommendation of a friend. They are not your friends. Serious. They're a bunch of bastards. And they hate you. Unless they are here with you, in which case they're sadistic bastards.
I recommend a friend the other one. Oh God.
There we go. So, all right. Now, see. Disclaimer. All right. Good. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, we have a question already. Oh, you mean, what's the anime that has General Black Man? I swear to God, there's a character named General Black Man. That is Protectors of Universe. Which we will be getting to later tonight. Because I plan on showing you a distillation of everything that I have used for this panel over the past 10 years. All right? Bring it on. Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for misery? Greatest assault upon your psyche you will ever receive outside of high school? So let's start. Okay, now let's see. We're gonna start off with a singular clip that I used from a piece of a movie that should have worked. Now, I'm sure we can all think of something where, the great actors, great director, really good writer, it should have worked, but it just didn't. We all, there's all examples of that. Like, say, I don't know, when Roland Emmerich thought he could do Godzilla. Actually, I don't really blame him as much to jump into the film geek role that I often fulfill. I don't really blame him as much as I blame his producer, Dean Devlin. I don't think Emmerich worked with him after that movie because this is the guy who's shooting off his mouth saying, yeah, you know, when people see this movie, they're going to completely forget about the original. Imagine putting that in the context of you're getting a gift from a Japanese producer. And you say, yeah, when we're done, they're going to forget your shit. Oh. All right? Any surprise that the visual license for Godzilla, the look and the feel, was pulled and they had to change it? Because remember, if you ever see the very first trailer where you see that his tail brush up against the building and whip back around, it was the original design. Sometime after that, that's when they got the big iguanodon-looking piece of shit.
Which gets destroyed in about 5 minutes in Final Wars.
What's that? Oh yeah. Well, not just in killed in Final Wars. Not just that. Also, remember there was there we go. In Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, aka GMK, early on there's a briefing of all these defense ministers and high muckety-mucks of the Japanese Defense Force. One of them saying the Americans said they had to run into with Godzilla too, and the other one says they found something, but it wasn't Godzilla. Which translates to
yeah.
Anyway, something that should have worked. Who here has actually sat through Dark Side Blues? Yeah, a few of you. Okay. 20 minutes. 20 minutes you'll never get back of your life. Dark Side Blues was originally penned by the guy who created Wicked City, aka Supernatural Beast City, the actual title. Vampire Hunter D. And it was directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri, the guy who directed Wicked City, who directed Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, the second one, who directed Demon City Shinjuku. This movie should have worked, but sometimes writers or directors or the mishmash of both of them think that, hey, we can do anything we want, and they'll love it. This thing was horrible. Basically what you've got is life on Earth sucks because Earth is now controlled by this mega corporation, except for this 10 square mile or 10 mile wide swath of Tokyo that they never managed to really conquer or could never buy out. So what they did was they erected a huge wall around it that goes up half a mile up. And of course, it's a big thorn in their side. Why they haven't dropped a convenient satellite or sprinkled it gently with fuel air devices is beyond me. But they need a place to have their big locking of horns with the ragtag band of street hooligans. And out of nowhere, and talk about awful exposition. It's really, if any of you are writers here, or have aspirations to be writers or directors, don't tell the audience that these guys are evil by showing them doing a really overtly, way too over-the-top level of cruelty just to say, oh, by the way, they're evil. As they're torturing to death this, in a very elaborate way, this resistance fighter. So, and as they're doing this, we're all nasty and cruel and we love this and everything. From their satellite up in space, where they basically look down on the world as their own little olive inside a martini glass. Who here catches that reference? Little globe inside a martini glass. We own you. Conglavo, thank you. We'll be covering that. We'll be covering Conglavo and Rocco's Modern Life tomorrow on Totally Subversive Tunes, by the way. Shameless plug. And so, as they're they're doing their evil machinations, then all of a sudden, a 19th century horse-drawn carriage goes flying from space through their satellite down to Earth, and they're like, so, he's here. This means something. Yes, it was. It was this big mishmash of some cool. Yes, yeah. Let's take some cool imageries and other ideas, throw it in a blender, and then and draw someone who looks kind of like Johnny Depp out of Sleepy Hollow to kind of mope his way through the movie, because he was the guy who was him in the carriage just because. And get like a quick view of him. Now, the reason why I chose to do this particular piece first at Anime Boston was because their theme was music. Turn it up to 11. If any of you love rhythm and blues, classic rhythm and blues, you're not going to like it for much longer. Or awesome-looking bugs. Well, since Paul Verhoeven can't pass up the chance to really, really do horrible things to the human body in very, very graphic fashion and make it look super real, well, there you go. However, there was an anime version of Starship Troopers about 8-10 years before or so, somewhere around in the neighborhood of like 1988. They got the armor right. In fact, they used the armor design off the Japanese novelization novel covers. However, now, who's really not too familiar with Starship Troopers? Okay, a handful. No, that's fine. It took me many, many years to read it myself. It's basically a militarist society. First person who says fascist, get out. All right. Because basically the idea is to take part, to be able to have a stake in the way things are, the state of the state. You have to be willing to put your life on the line in the military. Once you, which takes you from being just a person to a citizen. Only citizens can vote. Citizens, have much greater and expanded rights. However, one thing if you do note, and this is to anyone who says, they're not a bunch of fascists. If that was the case, Johnny Rico's family would not have been as wealthy as they were, even though they weren't citizens. So, however, this version, so very stark military thing, humans fighting the arachnids, the bug, in a cosmic battle for, whose is bigger. So here's the opening title sequence for Starship Troopers, circa about 1988. Or as they say in Argentina. Now, for those who saw, the Paul Verhoeven film, of course, the only thing that Johnny's more passionate about than to avenge his family is to bone Carmen Ibanez or whatever her name was, Carmencita. Let's see, and which, by the way, I have to share this. The second time I saw them in the theaters, because I saw it with one set of friends and another, we're watching this, and there's a scene where Johnny Rico is getting his administrative punishment for fucking up, and and then, you know, like he's getting his lashes. Then it cuts to an exterior shot of Rodrigo in a huge spaceship, and the camera slowly zooms in, and there's Carmen sitting at, you know, keeping an eye on the bridge. And I just lean over to my friend and go, boy, I hope Johnny's having as much fun in the military as I am. So, now, Denise Richards played her, you know, like, say what you will about her questionable acting talent, you know, good-looking woman. Even the version up there, a little vacuous that you saw in the card, a little vacuous around the eyes, but the way they animated her, it's the kind of thing that makes you want to grab a key animator by the throat and shake for about 20 minutes. Oh, one consistency between this version and the Paul Verhoeven film, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Juan Rico from Buenos Aires. Or maybe one of the boys from Brazil.
Joey!
I'm sorry, that is the stuff of which nightmares are made. Seriously, to the point where I had to put this little thing together, because this is the only thing that screamed to mind when I saw that. Where are you? Yes. Now, to give you an idea of how fundamentally terrifying this is, all I did was open up iMovie, dropped in that still frame, put on the music, there you go. The program itself was one that decided it wasn't creepy enough, and on its own, without any prompting by me, did that slow zoom in. I kid you not. I just dropped it in there and it did it itself. It was almost like it's saying, dude, there's something seriously wrong with this chick. So, yeah, let me go back to, now again, this is like, okay, this is a military epic, you know, this should be like important. So, of course, being handled by the Japanese, they decide to inflict Japanese shy boy syndrome on Juan Rico. Remember, this is what he wants most of all. Let's see. Okay, time to switch gears. Different kind of monsters. One might say even a super monster. Yes. Attack of the Super Monsters. Yes, suck it, smell it, love it. Now, a conspiracy had been hatched between myself and Super Object at the Sci-Fi Continuum to get a copy of this movie into the hands of the people who did Mystery Anime Theater back at Otakon. We succeeded, which is why back in 2002 they actually got to run with it. And there's a whole set of stories behind all that. I won't get into it right now. It takes too long. It's kind of boring. So, but they had one of the best observations of this. This show would be great if you're 8 years old, because you've got giant rubber-suited monsters, dinosaurs, and animated characters who fly around in like Thunderbird-style jets, and they fight each other. It'd be the coolest thing ever. Unfortunately, we're not all 8 years old. No, this is a warning. This is a warning. You ever saw one? Oh, by the way, I almost forgot one of my little caveats here. I forgot to explain to those who are new here how I choose what's bad and what's not. I don't choose something that's, first off, badly dubbed, because anyone can scrub it up. Anyone can turn Akira into the Streamlined Pictures version of Akira. Do you pea brain? And because however, it's not to say that a bad dub doesn't help, as you'll see in some of the other samples I got here. Also, what I do is I try to stay away from things that are just merely a matter of taste. Dragon Ball, Naruto, or Inuyasha, whatever. It's like pick a show. There can be debates back and forth. What I try to find are things that are so blatantly awful that I'm fully expecting the wallpaper back there to start peeling. Okay? So we're clear. Now, what we have here is an example of excess. In the mid-70s, certain idioms, certain tropes, certain ideas of what makes a giant robot show, and other similar fare, started to, people tried to keep outdoing each other left, right, and center. Like Go to Guy was the first man to actually put the pilot of the robot actually inside the robot in Mazinger Z. So other people started doing that too, and then they start calling out their attacks or these complex gatai, fusing together of pieces and stuff to create something bigger and better, and such and so forth. This show, they just went too far. They just went way over the top to the point where it became retarded. Now, what we got here, at least in the American version, I haven't been able to get my hands on the Japanese show, nor do I want to, because it ran for 39 goddamn episodes. So, in the English version, we've got Sir Miles Nevers, who speaks with this odd sort of accent, and his daughter, Lady Esther. So obviously, either the people who put this dub together knew nothing about British gentry, or things are a little kind of creepy. Because here's the thing: I did a little research. When you're a knight, when you're Sir at the beginning of your name, your wife is not dame. She's not a dame until she's given that honor, that privilege, that accolade. The wife of the knight is referred to as lady. So I'm thinking like, wait, okay, first I thought they messed up because they gave her Lady Esther, but that's what you give the wife of a knight. And that's his daughter. I like it better when I just thought they just messed it up. And this show is messed up. Now we've got Sir Miles Nevers, the one person who's trying to convince the world that, of the impending threat of the Paleogoths. Yeah, I know. What? Let's see. And he's got this super technological the nuclear ship Fort Liberty, which is both a submarine and a battleship and a hydrofoil all at the same time, and it can fly. Swear to God. Yep. All right. So, and then the douchebag here on the left. This is Janus. Janus is a martial artist whose mental and physical toughness will be used to help them fight the Paleogoths and their evil leader, Xerxes Tire Iron Dada. That's not a name? Want me to prove it? Yeah. No. God. Prove it. Yeah, what the fuck? So,
who are we fighting? We call them the Paleogoths. What in the world are that? I'm the aliens that fight ancient evil Xerxes Tire.
Still don't believe you? Check this shit out.
I fear for my life when I report this to his worship, Xerxes Tire Iron Dada. Xerxes Tire Iron Dada. Your worship, Xerxes Tire Iron Dada.
I'm only to serve our master, Lord Xerxes Tire Iron Dada.
Xerxes Tire Iron Dada, ruler of the universe, resistance is hopeless.
You dare to question me? So Sir Miles Nevers, by the way, with that beard, I can't think like, okay, so this is why they keep Amish people away from technology. This robot, Magnos, which is all based around magnetism, positive charge, negative charge, all that crap. So here, check this out. because this is awful.
Okay, this is when we need your help.
On hiatus. Wait for it.
They have served me for this past 8 years.
Oh, the combination.
Will you be returning to your life as a movie star?
Man, this is Larry King.
That actually was Larry King.
I had a great career, as you know, as a bodybuilder, as an actor, and as a politician. Now I'm going to be a private citizen once again. I won't be back.
This just in, Boulevards breaking news from San Francisco.
The robot.
Wait for it.
The goo.
I'm back.
So let's see if we get this straight. So retired actor, former governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his basement full of his love children are going to suit up Matrix and Akira style, and go around and beat the snot out of bad guys. Which, by the way, you know what? If you have the technology to form those kind of robots, I think an armored car is kind of chump change. And yet, through it all, my girlfriend, who lived in LA for 9 months to go to school for a while and learned to despise the city for many a good reason, pointed out that the one part of all that was the most science fiction-y of them all is the fact that anyone in LA would bother to lift a finger to help anyone in San Francisco. Oh yeah. So okay. Let's see what happens when you try to turn a video game into an anime. It rarely ends well. I mean, how many series of movies have they done of Street Fighter to try to get the goddamn thing right, huh? 3? Well, there was Street Fighter Alpha, there was the Street Fighter 2 movie.
Street Fighter 2B.
Say again? Which wasn't bad. Okay.
There was Alpha Generation, which was gay or black.
Wow. And I'm thinking you're not using gay as subtext for dumb, like so many idiots and sheep and cattle that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but as in, like, seriously flaming, running down the street next to Richard Pryor. Was it any,
I think that whole animated series Fighter based off Lucy, based off the animated movie, that was way worse. Because you have a scene where Ken and Ryu get naked and turn full.
Why didn't you watch this? I now have to find this show. Thank you. Thank you for giving me yet another bit of ammunition to use against many, many people.
I don't know, but they constantly reuse the same scene or animation.
Stock footage?
Cammy versus Fei Long was literally the same 4 scenes over and over. And I think he's doing the kick 4 times. They reuse that scene when they cut.
Now, I've seen, of course, certain animators. I think it was either Rintaro or Osamu Dezaki who, did the whole thing. Let's show the same sequence, the same little bit, like a few times over for a little dramatic effect, or if they have a bigger budget, let's show it from like 3 different angles and stuff like that. But that's really awful. I still refuse to watch that movie. I have that much dignity. Now, Raul, okay, a lot of people, I want to clarify one thing. A lot of people think that was Raul Julia's last film. That actually wasn't. He did one film after it, but this film he did after it was for HBO Pictures. It was this environmentally themed movie about the slashing and burning in the Amazonian rainforest. Had almost no pre-production, just editing, sound, color correction, things like that. Whereas Street Fighter had special effects and everything. So it took longer for it to hit the theaters. So, yeah, if you think poor Raul Julia, this is the film that killed him, actually, no. It may have been the one that made him sick enough to die after his next film. Because,
It's exactly like the video game.
Exactly like the video game. Oh yeah, like Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li with the blonde hair, super blonde hair, blue-eyed Neil McDonough, the guy who makes the same expression every single film he ever does, and we're supposed to believe this guy was raised on the mean streets of Bangkok? He would have been handed his liver day 3. No. Anyway, regardless. All right. Now, what I have here is an even worse adaptation. What I have on tap here is Battle Arena Toshinden. Why? Because I hate you all. And you keep coming back. It's extremely passive aggressive and a big codependent too. But and of course I kept the English dub because the English dub done by CPM, by US Manga Corps. Oh wow, is it awful? Who's ever heard of Masami Obari? A few of you. Okay, yeah. Animation director. He made a real name for himself doing the Fatal Fury movies, then Virus Buster Surge, and an incomprehensible piece of crap called Voltage Fighter Gao Kaiser. Yeah. Have you ever seen it? It is some of the most egregious jiggle you'll ever see in your entire life. Someone will turn like this much and it's like... I'm not kidding. I'm this far away of cutting a music video to it set to Yellow's. It's because it's that awful. And but obviously that wasn't porn-tastic enough for him, so he actually did a number of short porn titles for a while, then decided to switch back. Oh, then he did this before that as well. Then he decided to switch back to doing stuff like, Gravion and Gravion Zwei, because that was no fan service there whatsoever. So, yeah, here we go. Now, just a couple clips from this because any more will be like suicide-inducing.
You have to invite me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Foring, one of the founders of Otakon and one of the performers and writers of this new anime theater. Before I go on, now I mentioned there was a little story about the conspiracy to give these people Attack of the Super Monsters. No, because it's hilarious. I don't say this with any scorn or or discontent. Where's our pet guy? No. Oh yeah. Yes.
I don't know if there's a switch.
Honestly, I don't want to mess with this thing, because I think if I mess with it too much, it will rise up and kill me. Well, anyway, so okay. Yes, see how organized we are.
Yeah. Normally we have random scenes this time of night, but they switch around. Anyway, so me and Super Rob had one of the last remaining VHS copies of the Can you hear me back there? Yeah. This is what we're talking about. Not many are louder than me. So we had one of the last remaining VHS copies. She would not sell it even though she runs a video business. And we're like, dude, we got to give them a copy of it. So we dupe a copy. She dupes it. Or no, she hands me the original. I dupe it. I hand it off to this guy in 2001. What did you run with in 2001?
Let's see. No, 2001 was Samurai Showdown. To this day is one of our favorites.
Another glorious example of turning a fighting game into an anime. So,
yeah, we thought about that, but we'd already done like 2 or 3 fighting games already. We didn't want to be pigeonholed too much. So in 2001, we did Samurai Showdown, and 2002 we were looking for other things, and finally, I had previewed Super Monsters, and to my eyes, it was just too bloody awful. But we were short on material, so I said, well, I got this thing they showed me last year. Do you guys want to look at it? And we did. And we realized the thing about Attack of the Super Monsters is, if you are 8 years old, this is the coolest thing ever. Because it has robots and dinosaurs, and they fight! If you're older than 8 years old, it is
something.
Thank you, yes. Well, not logically consistent is a very polite way of putting it. There are other ways of putting it which I'm not going to repeat in polite company. That too. Okay. Oh, so a few weeks before the con, this guy corners me in the comic book store and asks, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I can't really tell. I can't tell now." So then the con comes around, and you.
Let me add to that. No, I remember I said, because I knew about the non-disclosure agreement, so I'm like, whatever you're running, I'm not going to ask because I know you can't tell me. It's cool. I ain't going to bug you about it. All right, I'm not going to be like thousands of other people like, what are you doing? So no problem. Because I didn't even think it was being considered.
If we told him, it wouldn't be a mystery. Mysteries. Yeah.
Oh, so 2002 rolls around. I'm about to help out Neil Nadelman for the second time in his Bad on May Bad panel, and I brought with me the first 5 minutes of Attack of the Super Monsters. And in come a couple of friends of mine who go to the same comic shop. I'm like, dude, look what I brought. They're like, oh no, they just did it down at Mystery Anime Theater. And I'm like, that bastard was right in front of me, and he didn't tell me. And then, the next day, on the main concourse, I see him and I go, you! And he's like, they swear to secrecy, I swear to God, I know! Just,
and this is the answer I've always given, this is true. Brian is a big guy, he was a scary guy right there. But my partner in crime, John Kilgannon, the guy who came up with the idea for Mystery Anime Theater, He used to work construction. He's kind of like Penn Jillette, only bigger and scarier. And
they're possible?
Yeah. So the thing is, sorry, Brian, I'm scared of John more than I'm scared of you.
And I said that. That's fine. So yeah. Final Fantasy: Legend of the Crystals. This one just speaks for itself. Basically, good guys, bad guys, everyone's trying to get these crystals. Okay, this is Dr. Frankenstein's daughter, Emily, who at one point befriended the beast, befriended the monster, and he was trying to teach him how to talk, and he was, but he could never quite pronounce her name right. And a big forest fire broke out, and people died, and he thought it was his fault.
What do I do?
What do we do in May? Yeah, let's read the fucking list, by the way. Okay, I'm not too familiar with Germany, but a friend of mine is. There's no Badlands of Germany, especially with dinosaur bones all over the place. Yeah, not exactly the lush scenery of Bavaria one would expect. By the way, speaking of Bavaria, I have to share possibly the coldest thing I've ever dropped as a joke in this panel came from this. When Dr. Frankenstein comes back from his experiments, he gives his little daughter this big red scarf. And the first thing she does is she wraps it over her shoulders, like holding it in front. And I saw this and I just shouted out loud one day, "Oh, now I look like a gypsy." They're popular here in Germany, right? See? I'm so glad to see there's enough people here who know their history, and especially know their history well enough to disapprove of what I just said.
Open fire!
Papa John Simmons. Anything about firearms? Who knows how easy it is to jam a revolver? Yeah, jam this, all right? Oh my God, it's jammed. Break the fighting spirit of people aliens?
What I have created I will destroy. You are of the dead and must return from whence you came.
No. Seriously, this guy's the worst shot ever. Everyone in the show is the worst shot ever up until now because the plot says so.
Why won't you die?
Papa, don't do it!
Emily, what are you saying? Because of him, your mother died a horrible death.
But that's not true. He didn't kill anybody. That's to save Grandpa's life and Grandpa was in the fire. He's no murderer.
What?
He would have said Mama, but he couldn't. Grandpa was carrying Grandpa. He couldn't get to her.
But the people just
Because the
killed.
one sentence is a sentence that keeps on going even though it should have stopped long ago because punctuation should demand it. Welcome to Harmony Gold, everybody. Hey, watch it. Yeah, only Speed Racer didn't stop. Isn't that not the most awesome thing ever? The therapy bills are climbing. Now, because we're really short on time, I'm going to jump on to one of my favorites, one of my favorite atrocities against the giant robot genre. Who knows what it's called? Protectors of Universe! This is a piece of crap anime done by a Korean subcontracting company that thought they could make their own films, and they made a bunch of them. Really, really badly. And I swear to God, that is the title. Protectors of Universe. Oh, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. And I had to keep the disclaimer. You'll see why. Sorry, the warning. Locations such as clubs, coaches, hospitals, hotels, oil rigs, prisons, and schools. I love how oil rigs and prisons rate higher than schools. Now this piece of crap is so badly animated, I thought it was done somewhere in the mid to late 80s. Then when I finally saw the date stamp, it was done in 1994.
Whoa! Damn!
In the far reaches of space, many millions of miles out into the galaxy, a new star is forged. As it is compressed and seared into existence, it creates an incredible roaring shockwave which sweeps across the universe like a hurricane, leaving in its wake an instant of complete dead silence. The roaring sounds like the distant howling of helpless millions on the faraway planet Orion. What was that? Your Honor, I've checked the computer and it seems to be a message from the new star. What? Is this a message of war? This new planet wants to destroy us. It is sending a declaration that it will conquer our planet.
fucking chicken.
It's such a peaceful place here, and so beautiful too. Just like you, Sid.